I like the explosion thing because there was a quiet after the explosion.
Actually, I hated that because of the quiet.
Because people don't know that if there is an explosion, there is not an immediate sound. And they were like, the people were placed at different places. The base camp was 10 kilometers away. And then the people were located at 20 kilometers and 32 kilometers. So sound travels at the speed of 330 meters per second, which means that it would take some amount of time before it reaches the people. So there would first you see a light, and which was nice. And also when you get the extreme quiet is also used in cinema to show a lot of confusion. Like I don't know what to do on a stage. So he used that for two reasons, so which I liked. And then I wanted to know what exactly he used for CGI, because I know there was no actual nukes explosion. And then which is why I watched the movie to see that particular explosion thing. And I know how they created it. It's not very difficult. People said that the explosion was difficult, but it is not. It's any person who works in a granite factory can do that. So yeah, that was something. That quiet was something that I liked. And then I like really smart dialogues when people use it, but sometimes I know that people don't really use such dialogues in regular conversation, and which is something that I did not like.
Okay.
Because people don't always keep on talking very seriously. I don't know if you know this. There's this book called Stiff, which is talking about doctors working on autopsy. And while they're autopsy, nobody is very seriously thinking about it because they have to be distracted. They cannot be emotionally involved. So they try to talk about, hey, did you watch a recent movie or some Pawan Kalyan song? And then they play that and do this. So scientists are shown to be very, very serious, and people use very heavy dialogues, but they don't always use it.
Right. I like how Feba is expecting very realistic things, and I have never been a fan of that realistic things. I take it like with a pinch of commerciality. I like
no,
this
the thing is about how I watched it the second time because every time people say something, like for example, at some point, Emily Blunt tells him that you cannot always, push away the people who care about you. You might need them at some point. All these conversations are like regular random things that they say, but not everybody always gives you perfect advice all the time. It's like everything leads up to Oppenheimer's whatever happens at the end. It's not always true. No, people don't always. It's like everybody is predicting what is going to happen with him, which I found out only when I watched it the second time. Every scene, oh, this person said this. This is why 3 years later this is going to happen. That's why this person sort of indirectly predicted, which was like too much. Which was not
That
something
is
that I would not have expected that from Nolan.
No, that's something. So there is like that's something called that's not scientific term or something. That's more like a cinematic term called as foreshadowing, which is there. Okay.
Yes.
That will anyway be there, and it's there throughout. If you notice, throughout the
people
movie.
love Game of Thrones because of
It's like
Game of Thrones.
Like
so
I would have enjoyed it in Game of Thrones, but I didn't enjoy it in Oppenheimer.
No, at the end, it is a movie. It is a movie, and it is for a experience. So, like, we cannot, like, there should not be a nuclear explosion just for a movie to make it realistic. I think that should not happen.
I'm happy with that they didn't do it. At least I'm happy that they didn't explode the world, because that's one good thing. But the premonition, foreshadowing thing, I was not really happy that Nolan used it so many times. I thought when I watched for the first time, it was like we don't know how it's going to end. So I thought like a few times, but then I thought every single important character always says something. And yeah, so it's a biopic. Maybe I would have enjoyed that in Game of Thrones. I would have loved it. I would have, Cillian said that in season 1, but then I didn't like it.
You should tell me what was your favorite scene in the film?
Well, my favorite scene was when he went to the president and he says like he did that, and the president tells him that you really think people care about you, and that's like more than 99% people before this movie, nobody knew about Oppenheimer, and but they knew about the president or that US government like use those two nukes on Japan and other things. So for me, that was like enough. Like the movie was about Oppenheimer, but I felt like Nolan was making fun of Oppenheimer in that part also. Like in that part only, like there's just हो गया तेरा, like you have just done it, like so I
Mm,
enjoyed that thing. Then after that, when like there was this conversation about like the whole Earth, like the chain reaction and the whole
mm,
Earth will be burned
mm,
and the
mm,
destroyed. That part I enjoyed a little bit. Like it could have been more like enjoyable. Like it could have been more elaborated and more things like more scenes were given to that part. But yes,
mm.
that and then the soundtrack like that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
also like
yeah.
yeah.
And
So like
yeah.
if you ask me that this is the most like not most the least liked Nolan movie of my times, but still I enjoyed it. I won't
Mm,
say it's bad, but if you ask me to rank all the Nolan movies on the basis of enjoyability, like which I enjoyed, so
mm,
I'll rank it at the last. But still, it's a good movie. I
mm,
want to
mm,
always
mm.
watch.
Fantastic. You're honest, man. Thank you. Because what are your
Yeah,
favorite scenes?
but still, like I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Like it's a good movie
Right.
and better
That
movie
that's
than
my
like
point actually. That's my point actually. I enjoyed Dark Knight a lot. I enjoyed Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises a lot.
on the
But
basis of enjoyability, like
yeah,
on the
on the
basis of
basis of
enjoyability.
enjoyability. Yeah, well, yeah, Vikas, we can go.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the two scenes which stood out most was one was that thumping, which basically happens, which spoke about,
Mm,
and
mm,
the visions which he sees, and he feels that okay, whatever, like till that time, I think he felt uh, that whatever he had done is in past now. Like it's
mm,
Japan has already been bombed and people have already died. World War is going to be stopped soon, and so he feels like a triumphant, right? But only at that moment he realizes that there is like slightly more or at like advanced uh, effects of this nuclear war which will happen across, and that's when he sees people melting away and people vomiting,
mm,
crying,
mm, mm,
all sorts of things happen, and imagery which comes into his mind when he keeps his foot forward and there is a like
mm, mm.
body, like whole burnt body kept there.
Burnt body comes up. Yeah.
So, so that was kind of very important scene for me because you see at this particular point of time his inner conflict has just been shown to us, that he won, he created a bomb which got successful, he got all the recognition because people are thumping and they are like shouting
Mm,
full of
mm, mm,
joy for him, right? And at that particular moment, all he can think about is what he has done for the humanity. Like he has made those two places, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and plus the whole world, an
mm,
insecure place to be in, both psychologically and all of those. So that was my first. That was a very elegantly seen put, and it was foreshadows right from the beginning. Earlier, the thumping sound used to come in the background of lot many scenes when he was like when he used to visualize things. The second
mm,
was the planning of the bomb, how the Trinity test which they did.
mm, mm, mm,
The moment leading up to it, because uh, if you notice Killian Murphy's reactions, Oppenheimer's reaction till that particular moment of time, it's tensed, yes, but he's still very focused. When he says to, I think, who was that guy who was pressing the button, right? Who was taking that call of
Matt Damon?
no, not Matt Damon. The another guy who
Acha,
was
acha, yeah,
leading
yeah.
on the
Uh,
initiation
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Fuco or something. It was his name, I guess. So when he tells him that if it is not this much, if it is not
If
too,
you not this much, yeah.
no,
Stop it.
stop it right away. So he was still very focused. He wanted to know what is going to happen, but he had to remain focused at that particular moment of time. And then of course the explosion, the way it was shown, and the delay, and like I was first immersed into the view which was there. You could hear the only the breathing sound of
Hmm, hmm,
Oppenheimer
hmm, hmm.
with a backdrop of the conversation which he had with Florence Pugh in the bedroom scene where he says, "Now I become death."
Depth.
Uh,
Hmm.
so it was that conversation going, and then the uh, sound comes and everyone is like floating. They are joyous also, okay, this has worked out for like, whatever they were planning to test. As a scientist, they were very happy at till that particular moment of time. And the moment leading into it, I was on the edge of my seat just to make sure that, okay, I don't miss out anything. I'm equally involved what they're trying to do. And it has, if you notice, all the scientists which were there, they had different reactions to this, how they're preparing themselves. Few scientists, okay, they were like, I feel Oppenheimer was shown the last who put the what do you call, glasses. Everyone else was like they had put it earlier, but Oppenheimer was the last who kind of puts it. And the army men falling, like lying down, stomach first, and then away from the blast scene. And all of these reaction, one person, I think he was the person who, I forget his name, but he was the first person who proposed the hydrogen bomb. He applies
Edward Teller.
Edward Teller.
Yeah, he applies the like whatever he applied, and then he
Yes.
Sunscreen.
It's like sunscreen or face mask, something like that.
It's just a sunscreen UV blocker.
kept his direction always towards the bomb. So these events, right? And after I watched the movie, I watched the documentary which was there around this, and it was the same. People had done it. He had not done anything.
Right.
It was the same thing, and that for me was very real. Like how the mushroom cloud gets formed and all of those, and I could feel the devastation it can cause at that particular moment of time. At least for me, I had never witnessed uh, a bomb explosion as close as what I, and it would be more terrified, I feel, but it was like more closest I can get to it.
Right. We all can get, actually.
Yeah, so that these two moments were like highlight for the first. The thumping was for the both how his mental state was, and the second was because it was like you're watching one of the coolest thing which scientists have done in the history. One of the coolest thing.
Right.
So,
Right. My favorite scenes. Sorry,
No, I said the coolest.
So, my favorite scenes in the film are, when Matt Damon first arrives and he has a conversation with this guy, Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy. I thought, what a conversation they had. Like, वो क्या बोलते हैं, एक के ऊपर एक हावी. He throws one punch, he throws another. If you remember, the entire conversation was like two lions fighting for the meat. But they know that they are in for the same cause, and he doesn't hesitate for a second. The entire conversation happens, and he doesn't ask the question, "Are you in or not?" He just goes and so how to do
A
it?
humble scientist conversation.
So he just goes and starts like, I need 4 teams. This one is for this one. This one is for this one. This one is for this one. Uh, he he's already in. I mean, he talks like he's already in. He's already in, and then he narrates, I want this one. I want this one. I want a town. I want a school. I want these things. That things. That conversation was, pretty heroic in nature, I would say. And the other aspect is Emily Blunt's testimony. Damn, that woman, she literally scared the shit out of him. Sorry, Vikash?
No. There is some disturbance here. Sorry.
Okay, so that woman literally scared the hell out of this guy who was asking her testimony. Like, she was on her seat. Like, if he asked one more wrong question to her, he's going to crawl up the table and kill him. I liked the emotion of her. I mean, in fact, I was actually wondering why. I understand how Hollywood acting works, how Hollywood casting works. But then, I thought Emily Blunt is such a good actor. She, she's an extremely popular face. I thought up until now, there is no scene that I can go home and carry that inside my head. There was no scene where why she agreed to this. As a see, I'm speaking as a Telugu audience again. The culture I come from is a very different culture. I grew up watching Rajamouli films alone. I'm a huge fan of Rajamouli. That's the kind of thing I look at it. So it was very surprising for me to see Emily Blunt in a role wherein she won't be remembered probably if the audience come out of the theater, wherein when actors have this insecurity inside them. As an actor, I'm telling you this. We all want to do our part. Arey, koi to bol de ki, yeah, you did good. You did good. So we all have this inside us. I thought she didn't have that kind of scene until I saw this. And I was like, wow, this woman really pulled it up. And uh, she showed what that character is. That was I thought that was a pretty good moment for her. And sorry, Vikashi.
Just to add to that, so when you I remember this dialogue which Oppenheimer says that his lawyer asks, "Are you sure that you're going to let her be on the stand?" And he says that we have me and again I forgot the name. So we have both seen our up and down, but
Kitty.
Kitty, yeah, me and Kitty have uh, had our share of time, and I feel she'll be able to handle anything. Something of on this line, and that dialogue says some like through the entire movie. I kind of felt that they are not going to be together.
Even I thought that the relationship
happens, right?
Right.
I felt they had a very shitty relationship, yeah, and I felt eventually they are going to like crawl up and move away from each other.
Yes.
It was something like that, but even then, this like Oppenheimer had so much of confidence and belief in her because they had seen everything together, and he knew that she has accepted me for who I am, and I have to accept her.
That's a beautiful scene. And in fact, I kind of hated them when, as a father of a 10-month-old child, 10-month-old child, I hated them when they said, when they were giving their child away. Child is crying inside and she's not going in. She wants sex from him. She's getting all horny. That's a child crying in there. How can you? I mean, that's a I understand what goes in. I mean, his friend also says, right? I know what you're doing is of something extreme, some greatest thing, and these things require sacrifice. And he takes upon his kid. I like the whole scene and setup, but the only factor is they realized it very late. That's what I think. But it was that scene was really good actually. Sorry.
What they realized very late?
Having a kid is going to be a hindrance because, like you said, their relation is not all bed of roses. It's all bed of thorns. And like you mentioned, even I thought they were going to split. Neither the start is like that. They all like it is shown like both are always in bad mood for some reason. Yeah. So I thought they were going to break up, but yeah. And one more thing, I had problems with the bomb effect until Feba clarified it for me. Thank you, Feba. In this panel only, I learned that he did this, right?
I didn't know that.
No, I mean,
speed of sound.
I might have. Sorry, Rishabh?
The effect, like the sound travels.
Sound travels faster. In fact, it's been a lot.
Light travels faster.
light travels faster and sound travels a little bit less. They're 10 kilometers away, 30 kilometers, like 32 kilometers away. So these things, they're being actually trolled in internet because the sound effect comes very late than the bomb. I mean, not just late. Uh, there is a huge pause in between. I understand
For
coming
10
late.
kilometers, it would take 30 seconds.
Yeah, that
The
was
sound to
too real
travel.
for us to
30
understand.
kilometers. 30 kilometers is like 1.5 minutes later.
Right. I understand that. I did the calculations now when you said 440 meters per second. I did those things right now. It was, I mean, people are actually trolling for that. Like I said, this is what happens, Prakash. I understand it's our job to understand, but it's also their job to explain. Like, not this thing can't be explained. Also, I understand. I totally get it. Until Feba clarified it, it was amazing. It was
Just
it was
imagine the scene, okay? Just imagine Oppenheimer telling that you will hear the sound 30 seconds later because
no,
he
no,
is
no.
at
I understand. I understand.
They will kill him for doing this, okay? People are
And
I
talking
understand.
scientists are really
subatomic.
sensitive about, like
Right.
Aryan said, the conversation between, I'm yet to meet a humble scientist. Scientists are really egoistical about their
Work.
knowledge.
Yes.
So if somebody explains something really subtle, they're like, yeah, I actually have seen a conference where this PhD student was explaining what he did recently, and somebody stood up and said that I did that 30 years ago and it was useless and walked away. You know, and people are really insulting, and they don't insult you like, not, they don't call you words, they always insult you in sentences. For example, once there was a problem with a different scientist who was like sort of attacking my work. So I said that probably if you read an introductory textbook, it would be clear for you, which is me insulting him by saying that you should read introductory textbook. So, and he never spoke to me ever again. So okay, maybe I'm also egoistic.
The thing is, Barbie and Oppenheimer released on same date. Barbie collected more than Oppenheimer in US. However, in India, the case is reverse. Now, I would like if the situation wherein Indian people are genuinely interested in scientific things and they're really appreciative of this, and I would be very happy as a person. But a lot of tickets are being sold in the name of peer pressure. That's the my office mates, all of them fell asleep on Interstellar movie. बाहर आके बोले अरे क्या do you know wormhole, do you know black hole, this अरे यार बस भी करो तुम सो गए यार, you slept off. So
yeah, Nolan is
Yeah, go ahead.
Nolan has become more of a class, like like
yes,
iPhone.
it's being it's being used up as a I would rather not use this word, but I don't have a choice. It's become like a caste. I'm a Nolanist. It's become like a caste. That's what I hate about this guy.
Pretentious.
It's very
Yeah.
pretentious
For
in
me-
nature. That's it, guys. Actually, I'm very much humbled by this discussion. Especially Feba, when you mentioned that thing, I actually calmed myself inside. I had a different perspective when I'm discussing it with you guys, and thank you for that. The thing is, Feba, I have mentioned that I didn't understand this. What you have said, that light travels faster than sound. That was the concept applied by Christopher Nolan. I didn't realize it then, until you explained it to me. Point is, most people don't realize it. They don't admit it like I did.
That's true.
So I'm the host of this show. I cannot look vulnerable in front of you. I cannot be. I cannot look like a fool. To be frank.
No, you are being honest. It's not.
Yeah, I'm being honest.
We appreciate your honesty, not the.
Yeah. So this doesn't happen at all. If it had happened, actually, half of Nolan movie tickets will be cut down from in India.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But that's my only problem. But other than that, um, I liked this is the, like I said, I liked some of the scenes, especially Matt Damon and Cillian Murphy and Emily Blunt. And there was one particular expression of Robert Downey Jr. When he is lastly revealing what all he did. There is a villainish laugh he does, and that is going to stay with me and give me nightmares as an actor. Because I mean, he was our hero. And Christopher Nolan puts it, casting him as Iron Man is the best casting decision in probably a decades or century. Christopher Nolan says that. Like, he's that hero for us, and now he's an old mean villain. It was, but he pulled it off really well, man. Really, really well. It was very unexpected for me. Go on.
There was this little confusion that they gave us at the end, where Emily Blunt looks at him, the last scene of Emily, where she looks at him and says that you got what you wanted, but the people won't forgive you. And then he says, "We'll see," which is a question mark, because we never know if he actually regretted it, or he didn't want to be famous for as a nuke guy and just wanted to be famous as a scientist, not as somebody who kills people. Because Nolan didn't show the entire history. He skipped a few major points, like he was super filthy rich, Oppenheimer, which is why he had so much ranch and property and stuff. The other thing he missed was Lewis Strauss was already a very famous person for his charity. He supported a lot of welfare activities during the war instead of the army thing. Because whatever Oppenheimer did, it was for science, but not exactly for the people. So he won something equivalent of a Bharat Ratna from several countries, which was never shown anywhere in Lewis Strauss' character depiction in that.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, and
that's one thing.
The movie is from Nolan's point of view, where Lewis Strauss is at fault, but globally there is nobody who says that he's completely wrong, because he actually helped a lot more people than Oppenheimer killed, in a way.
Yeah, that's the moral conflict, I guess. To be or not to be, ultimately.
Yeah, so when he says that I gave him exactly what he wanted, which could be true.
And one more thing is that I think Edward Teller, even Christopher Nolan mentioned this. Fiba, can you mute your mic? Yeah. Even Edward Teller mentioned this, guys. I mean, Christopher Nolan told that Edward Teller mentioned this, that Oppenheimer did not have to. I mean, I'm not talking about the film aspect. Film is good. We have already talked about film. This is about the philosophy aspect of it. Right now, we are talking about the philosophy aspect of it. Edward Teller, he says that if we hadn't invented hydrogen bomb, he's the father of the hydrogen bomb. Could the world be any different? And his answer is, what's the biggest hydrogen bomb in the world, in the entire universe? He says the sun. It is in the nature. It is, so whatever these guys have done, whatever Oppenheimer did, it is already there in nature. It's just that you are taking time to a bit to recognize it. That's it. And I have always seen it as, no. When I was watching the film, I know that had to be done. There was no other choice. It's it's like, have you guys have seen Ragnarok film, Thor Ragnarok? During the end, Hela, she's about to destroy the whole Asgard, and uh, uh, she says, "Thor, you can't stop me." And Thor says, "I can't, but he will." So, in order to curb the evil, you needed a bigger evil. Like you said, Fiba, there are cancer cells which exist to fight the cancer cells. So that way I look at atom bomb like that. Though Oppenheimer did feel bad about it, how he killed a lot of people. If he hadn't done that, there would be a lot of more people who would have died because Japan is not giving up on the war. It had to be.
Yeah, but if you watch the movie, they already mentioned that Japan was about to lose the war. Even if there was no nuclear attack, Japan would have lost the war within a few more weeks. It was not sustaining. The only reason they launched it was historically, people say that there are two reasons. I don't know what went on. There are two reasons why Truman actually wanted to launch it. One, Truman just came into power just 3 months. Yeah, he just came into power just 3 months, and he wanted to show the world that I defeated the what was that? Axis powers by myself, because two people were getting the credit. Roosevelt, because he was the one who actually yes, and then all over Europe, people always think that Winston Churchill was the one who defeated. Yes, everybody gave credit to Churchill. Churchill is considered the man, the Colonel Ward, and the great superpower who single-handedly destroyed the Axis powers. Truman wanted both the credit for himself, which is why he was like, okay, let's launch a bomb. Let's launch a bomb.
And the other aspect was Soviet.
And the second aspect was to show Soviet that we are better than you, which is what the entire space race was all about.
Right. It's not. Space race is there. Fiba, can you put yourself in mute? A lot of wind is coming, Fiba. Okay. So what I'm saying is there is I still think that was necessary because USA and Russia went into Cold War, not an actual war. There could be a circumstance wherein they could have gone to war, and probably that would have been another episode in history which we will again have to be learning, and there will be another 100 other biopics on those things as well.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Right, sorry. Missile crisis.
It was shown in that X-Men First Class movie.
Right.
I remember, at one point of time, America and USSR, they both were going to launch nuclear missiles on each other and all of their allies.
Right. So that's the thing. It could have gone worse. So, and besides, Truman actually says this: the blood is not on your hands. You just provided me a tool. How I use, that's on me. I understand you created it. You could have created it for probably. I could have used it for electricity generation, or could be anything else. But I used it to destroy things. So blood is on my hands, not on yours. And one, one important dialogue, or the one I chuckled a lot was Oppenheimer goes out, and the door is about to close. You can still hear
Don't
that.
Don't
let that crybaby come in ever again. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
That's actually the
real part. Yeah.
It felt like Nolan was making fun of Oppenheimer in a movie about Oppenheimer.
Right. So
on this aspect, right? There's just one so there is this quote which goes right like this, that they won't fear it unless they understand it. They won't understand it until they have used it. Right. It's regarding the bomb, and they said they won't understand it until they have used it or they have seen what devastation it can cause. So it goes both ways. Like, we can very well say that if they had not dropped it on Japan, and the world war would have stopped. Yes, I totally agree. But it could also be the case that they had made the bomb, and it will eventually be dropped at some place, because they don't understand what all ill effects it can cause. Only after they have dropped it on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, world knows that how devastating
it can be. Yes.
Right, and so that has kind of prevented
100 other wars, probably.
In a way, like good way, bad way. That's what I'm saying. There's a kind of a balance which has occurred because of
Hmm.
this attack. Because now people know that if there is a nuclear war, no one will be the survivor.
No one will be survived. Yes.
It's
Now,
all-
now everyone knows.
Yeah, but that's why I think more international treaties on nuclear war,
Yes, yes.
nuclear treaties, and
Especially when there are nuclear nations, when two nuclear nations are there, like India and Pakistan, for example, they have treaties. They know the potential of the bomb. They know what happens when they go to war. So FIBA,
But
coming to you,
India never signed the nuclear proliferation treaty. India never said that we will control our nuclear weapons or anything.
yeah,
Yeah, so
they said we don't
everything.
come first. That's all I think, right?
No, we have also changed that.
We have also
We have
changed that.
also
Right, oh, right. That's news.
We have really
policy.
good nuclear power. We have enough to destroy our own country if we worst case scenario. But
Okay.
yeah, I think India is one of the few countries in the world which has enough nuclear power to destroy the world if it wants.
Right. Yeah.
Not.
Of course, no one
You have
wants
seen,
that.
have you seen that movie G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe,
The
yes.
second
G.I. Joe.
second one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, there was this scene like there were 7, 8 nations were there, and all of them
Right,
like their own
right,
children were there.
right,
Never
right.
there.
Correct. So
And
then
then
it
they
will be
told,
like that. So FIBA, I pointed the finger at you. If you would have been in Oppenheimer's place, like you have created something, what would your philosophy be of the reason why I'm asking is, like I said, we are discussing the philosophy of the film. How would you tackle the situation? Would you feel bad that blood is in our hands? Mute, you're mute.
I think the situation. Have you watched the movie Razi?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be something like that. You would still do it. You would. I don't think I would not have not dropped it. I would have still done it. Maybe not on a peaceful city, but at the nuclear areas and stuff. But then after that, I don't think I would be in a situation where I can make any further decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understood your
Maybe
point.
spend all the money that I get with the therapist, but I would have still done it because I don't think before doing it, I would know the consequences of it. I just like anybody who does whatever they do, until you never know, and you always want to test your theory.
Okay.
You never know the truth of it until you actually see it.
Hmm.
So now I know, but before dropping it, I would not have known it. So I would have still done exactly what Oppenheimer would have done if I had the intelligence and the capacity to do.
Yeah, of course. We wish you the intelligence and the capacity because you're a scientist too. We hope some groundbreaking things
Yeah, but
from
I
you.
do
We
all
expect.
climate related stuff. So
Yeah.
I do the climate change where the government does not listen to me. So yeah.
Okay. Rishu, so what's your take on
I
the
would have
philosophy of the
I
movie?
would have definitely used it for two reasons. First, curiosity, and second, to own it. To
Own it.
own it. Like I did this. I have done something great in my life. Like to like the psyche of mostly scientists or mostly business successful persons. Like if you have seen Breaking Bad, you must
Hmm.
I like you must have seen Breaking Bad.
Hmm.
Like I have you seen Breaking Bad?
Right. Yeah, I've seen it.
So there was this scene when somebody asked like a Walter White, like his wife asked like, "What do you have?" Like who is then he says that I am the person who knows.
I'm the person
So
who knows.
when he says that, he wants to like convey that he has create something large, something which he can own it. Like he's not some any other human being who just got born, lived his life and went away. He wanted to create something and to own it. So
Hmm.
for that reason, I would have definitely used it for two reasons. I said it for curiosity and to own it or to create my name in the history or to like
Hmm.
to make myself uh,
Hmm.
like famous or not
Hmm.
famous like recognizable.
Recognize. Yeah. Vikash, we already heard from you, I think. You do the same thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
If I was ever in a uh, like if I'm ever that capable of what Oppenheimer was, I would I would not have even hesitated for a second, because that's what
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
like.
So Truman is right in calling him a crybaby. I believe.
No.
No, no, kidding,
It's
kidding.
two things, right? It's two things. When he like, I'm not saying I would blast. I'm saying about Trinity test. I'm not talking about Hiroshima and
Trinity,
Nagasaki.
yes, yes.
Trinity test was a proof that people uh, whole world, like, things which whole world knows nothing about till that moment of time, whether we can control that chain reaction, whether we can even cause a catastrophic damage by just bombarding few nucleus here and there, and opening up the like starting up the chain reaction. And if I'm envisioning it, and I want to see how it kind of comes up, like whether I would be able to control it or not. If everyone dies, like there was a scientist who was taking bets, right? How many says we'll survive, or how many says, like 10 bets it will all, like we will all die, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he says this is something like a gallows paradox, something, right? He mentioned something like that, because no one will be there to support that bet, no, after everyone dies. It's more about that fun, like I want to see whether I can control it or not. But if I'm able to control it, yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm the greatest mind this earth has ever produced. So if I'm ever in Oppenheimer's shoes, I would love to see uh, what his mindset. But yes, his action, because he knew that create like he took a lot of blame on himself, which I feel was wrong. Like I like
I know, even me.
every person behaves differently in under different circumstances. I think Oppenheimer was like, there is a dialogue in the movie as well that no selfish person will say that uh, they are selfish. It's
Right.
more of that, right? So I feel Oppenheimer was not very humble when it came to physics and things like that, but became very humble after he created the bomb. And then he realizes what the potential things it can cause, and that's why he was worried that this going into wrong hand will prove catastrophic. Because if Oppenheimer had not done it, Heisenberg would have. There is like Edward Teller who would have created the hydrogen. Soviets were already there almost. So it was matter of time, but Oppenheimer was the first to kind of grab onto that opportunity.
Yeah. So to conclude, even I think what Vikas would have done, even I think the same. I would not have felt guilty because one, like Edward Teller puts it, it's already in the nature. It's just a matter of time. People will recognize it. How it is used, I think it's and even Christopher Nolan says that even AI also has this thing. The quote unquote the Oppenheimer movement when AI was actually invented. Um, I mean, there has to be something that has some line where it has to be stopped. That's exactly what the world is following right now. I think I would give people enough credit to honor that wherein if they have too much power, they will know how to curb it also. That is one example of Oppenheimer and atom bomb, and of course later hydrogen bomb came, and now AI, which is another hydrogen bomb type of thing. So this would be my idea, guys. So ultimately, we think this is the entire audience roundtable. These are our audience's opinions. This is how we feel about the film. I hope Oppenheimer is in still theaters, so please catch soon, watch it. Um, it is a beautiful science experience. It will be like revisiting your school, like quote unquote, if you have good memories out of it. Uh, so it will be visiting like your school, and everything that you have studied in school is visible on screen, and it's great to watch. Especially for me, looking at Albert Einstein was a very sweet moment. I mean, the way he came also on screen, that's some sort of serenity in him. the anticipation that we have, and I'm watching Albert Einstein. So that was very beautiful, and all the scientists that we have heard in our childhood, from Niels Bohr to Oppenheimer to Edward Teller, to all these things, it will be a great fun to watch, and it's a pretty good movie. Also, please read some of the history and science books a bit before you watch the film. So this is our advice. Thank you for the audience for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, people in the audience roundtable, you can also tell the audience to like, share, and subscribe. Vikas, starting with you, please.
Hey guys, like, share, and subscribe to Aryan Talks.
Thank you.
For more such movie discussion. Yeah.
Thank you, Vikas. Vibha?
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe for more of these thought-provoking audience roundtable sessions.
Thank you. We are taking too much credit for that. Thank you for it. Audience, Aryan signing off.